Hello students, today we learn a new lesson, materials, metals and non-metals. Now we are familiar with a lot of materials like aluminium, iron, copper, etc. So they have given a list of those materials. Now based on their appearance and hardness of these materials, we need to classify them. So I'll write the appearance of iron. We know iron is shiny in appearance. Then if we see the aluminium, okay, we'll go to the hardness. So if we see iron, iron is very hard. So I'll write it is a very hard substance. Then if we go to coal, now coal is black in color and it is not that shiny also. So I can write it is dull. Now in hardness, no, it is not very hard. Not very hard. Then again, if we see sulfur, so in case you all have not seen the substances, I'll just show you all. We have sulfur. So if you see this, it is a yellow powder. So it is not very shiny, but it is dull in color. So we can write that it is dull. So let us make a note of it. It is dull in appearance and not very hard. Then if we see aluminium, you will have seen aluminium in the form of foils. So how is it? Definitely it is shiny in appearance and the metal on its own is very hard. Then in case we see copper, now you all must have seen copper in form of utensils. So copper is shiny and also it is very hard. Completed this table. So now we've seen that some of them are hard in substance, are hard and they are shiny also, and some were dull and not very hard. So the shiny and the very hard substances are called as metals. So these substances we can say are metals, which are shiny and hard. And in case of non-metals, non-metals we can write they are dull and They are not hard, not very hard. So I'll just clear this. So this was what are metals and what are non-metals. Clear this, yeah. Now we will see what are the physical properties of metals and non-metals. Now here there is a blacksmith. So a blacksmith is this person who is who works with iron and gives different shape to the metals. So as you can see, what is he doing? He is heating this metal and he gives various shapes. So you can make, spade, axe and all after beating this metals. So now they are asking us what would happen in case instead of metal if I use a wooden log, या a piece of wood. लकड़ी का कोई टुकड़ा अगर मैं लेके उसे तोड़ने की कोशिश करती हूँ और अगर मैं एक मेटल का चीज के उसको तोड़ने की कोशिश करती हूँ, उन दोनों में क्या डिफरेंस होगा. तो उनके टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट दे हैव told one activity which we can do. So to do that, we will have to take small iron nails, pieces of coal, then aluminium wire and pencil lead. And we need to beat the iron nail with a hammer. So ऐसे हमें उनको तोड़ना है. Okay, the same thing needs to be done for everything. So then based on that, we need to fill up this table. So the table is of malleability of materials. So in case of iron nail is a metal and we know we are able to flatten it. So we can write flattens. Then in case of the coal piece, it will break. Aluminium wire, in case we flatten it, it will become flat in case we press it. Then the pencil lead will definitely break. So now what we have seen, whichever metals were present, we were able to flatten them into sheets, but we are not able to flatten the non-metals. They break into small pieces. Now the property of this is called metals. You can take a note, the property of metals by which they can be beaten into thin sheets is called as malleability. So you'll have seen the example of silver foil which we eat, which are present on the sweets. We use it for decoration purpose. Then aluminium foil will wrap food. Now let us see about the conduction of electric current through metals and non-metals. Now they have told us to recall the electric tester what we had done in class 6. You need to have a cell and connect it to a bulb, electric bulb, and you need to connect different substances. So here first we have given a iron nail, then you need to use sulfur, coal piece and copper wire. Now in case I do this activity, I know that iron nail will be a good conductor of electricity. 1 minute. Just yes. Iron nail is a good conductor of electricity. Good conductor of electricity. Then we have sulfur. Sulfur is a poor conductor of electricity. So we can write poor conductor. Then even the piece of coal is a poor conductor of electricity. In case of copper, yes, copper is a good conductor of electricity, and because of that only they've been used in the wires which we use at home. So they are used of copper. So we've seen that metals like iron and copper wire, they are good conductor of the electricity, while the non-metals are poor conductors of electricity. Now we know that we can have copper in the form of wires because we have been using them at home. So now the property by which the metals can be drawn into wires is called as ductility. Now you all must have heard the sound of your school bell or the bells which are present in the church or the temple. So why are we able to hear when we hit a metal? That is because metals have the property to produce ringing sound, and that property is what we call as sonorous. So we can conclude that metals are sonorous, and the materials which are present other than metals are non-sonorous. So we shall club all the physical properties of metals as hard, lustrous, malleable, ductile, sonorous, and good conductors of heat and electricity. Now, in case of non-metals, what we can say is that uh, they are rather soft and dull in appearance, and they are broken down into powdery mass on tapping with the hammer. Then they are not sonorous, they do not produce sound, and they are poor conductors of heat and electricity. Some examples of metals are iron, copper, aluminium, calcium, magnesium, and the examples of non-metals are sulfur, carbon, oxygen, phosphorus, etc. So, this is an important note. So, metals like sodium and potassium are so soft that we can cut it with a knife. Now, in case if we have sodium and potassium metal, we will be able to cut with a knife. But in case if we take metals like iron, we are unable to cut. So this is an exception. Also, mercury, which is present in our thermometers, that is the only metal which is found in liquid state at room temperature. So these are the important exceptions which we need to know. So these were the physical properties of metals and non-metals.